Hello Glammers and welcome back to my channel, and if you are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Now don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the notification bell for more upcoming DIY future videos. For this DIY, I'll be creating two pet storage boxes and matching wall art decor. If you would like to find out what I created, just continue watching. My first DIY, I'll be using one produce box that is very strong and sturdy. For my first two DIYs, I'll be using two. Next, I'll be using a foam board sheet and I'll be covering the sides and the back of the box, so I'll be cutting everything to size. I will not be giving out measurements because this will be according to the size of the box you will use to recreate this project. I will need a second one, so I'll use the other half of the board to cut one out. For the remainder of this DIY, I'll be using my strongest glue sticks. Next, I'll glue the back and sides onto the box and I'll leave the front empty. And don't forget to follow me on my social media platforms linked below. Next, I'll be cutting this gray appearance looking fabric and I'll be cutting it to fit the size and back of the storage box. Next, I'll take the fabric and I'll start gluing it on the sides and back of the storage box. Once I was done, I'll cut off the remaining fabric. Once I was done, I'll cut a slit on each side and then I'll fold and stretch my fabric in and glue it in place. Next, I'll be using this pet photo cotton fabric, and I glued it onto a foam board cut to size to fit the storage box, and I left the top part of the fabric without gluing down. I'll be gluing down the remaining fabric and stretching it as I go to cover up the top edge. I'll be lining the inside of the storage box, and I'll be using foam board that I cut to size already. Next, I'll take my foam board that I cut and I'll cover them with gray marble contact paper, and then I'll be gluing them inside the storage box. Next, I'll bring back my fabric and I'll be cutting 2 strips 1.5 inches wide. I'll be using a long ruler and a pen so I may have straight lines. I'll take my strips and I'll be gluing them in the center, and I'll start by gluing down the edge using hot glue, and then I'll push it into the glue by using a large skewer. Also create a hidden seam. Because I want my strips to be glued down evenly in the center, I'll be drawing 2 lines on each side. Next, I'll be using this flat metallic beaded trimming, and I'll be gluing it on the edges of both strips. I will also be gluing trimming on the front edges. Next, I'll be using drawer handles that I already had on hand, and I spray paint them metallic silver. I'll be placing them on the front side of my storage box, so I'll mark them in place. Because this is fabric and it can pull, I'll be using my box cutter to create both holes, and then I'll be using my screwdriver to open them up. To hold my handle in place, I'll be using two 2-inch flathead screws that come with knobs. The screws are too long, so I'll be replacing them later on with smaller ones. And don't forget to support your local animal shelter to give these beautiful animals the love and care and home they deserve. For my second DIY, I'll be repeating the same steps with the second produce box, and I'll be using a fabric with hearts and doggy paw prints. Here I made a mistake and I forgot to cover the top edge, so that will be an easy fix. All I did was add hot glue and add more fabric to the top, pushed it in with my skewer, and then fold it over and glued it in place. I repeated the same steps inside with the marble contact paper and foam board. Next, I cut the heart shapes that were printed on the fabric, and I'll be gluing 2 on each side. Once the hearts were glued down, I added the same metallic trimming around the edges of the hearts. Also glued on trimming on top and on the sides. I also cover the bottom of both storage boxes with marble contact paper and foam board. For my third DIY, I had this photo frame on hand, and I'll be taking it apart and I'll be spray painting the frame metallic silver. Next, I'll take the gray fabric and the board that came with the frame, and I'll be cutting it to size. Once that was done, I'll be gluing the fabric onto the board. Next, I'll take strips of my red fabric and I'll start cutting different shapes, and I'll repeat the same steps with the black fabric as well. I took poster board and cut out a heart-shaped stencil, and then I'll be tracing it on top of the gray fabric. Again, I did not give measurements because this will depend on the size of frame you use. Next, I took the pieces of my red fabric and I'll be gluing them on the outline of the heart, and in the center, I will glue the black pieces of fabric. Next, I'll apply one coat of Mod Podge using my brush on the heart, and this will prevent with wear and tear with time. Once it was dry, I'll take the wall art and I'll put it on my frame, and I also cut a piece of foam board and place it in the back to hold it in place. I will also be gluing on pieces of trimming in the corners. And to hang my wall art, I'll be using command strips that holds up to 16 pounds. Here I'm just putting away my dog treats with still remaining a lot of space. I really do love the way both storage box turned out and the wall art. And here's the cutting board cart in its natural wood before I stained it in gray. And if you are a big dog lover as I am, this is a great way to show them how much you care and glam up their life a little. And here are both of my beautiful babies. The one in white is Lila and the one in black is Nitro. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy all 3 DIYs as much as I enjoy creating them. Now don't forget, I post new DIY videos every week. Like and share with family and friends, and subscribe if you haven't. Comment if you wish. Turn on your notification bells for more upcoming future videos. I'll see you on my next DIY upload.